The British watch industry is flourishing with more and more brands being established. So today I want to look at 12 micro brands, some of which you may have heard about and others, well, I'm pretty sure you haven't. Either way, if you love discovering new watches, you've definitely come to the right place. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Chris and I have something to confess. Up until maybe 2 years ago, I really had no idea of the extent of the British brands available to us in the marketplace today. However, since that time, I've been lucky enough to have hands-on with bigger brands like Christopher Ward, Rotary, and of course Gekko. And I've also owned a few vintage watches from British brands, such as my gorgeous Smith watch my equally beautiful wife gifted to me. And I know I've just scratched the surface. So the guys in the office challenged me to evaluate 12 watch brands by looking at their design language, their most popular models, price points and specs in order to see which ones offer the greatest value for money. But before we dive on in, if you're looking for your next microbrand purchase or watch strap, WatchGecko.com has you covered. Okay, so straight off the bat, I have to say I have actually seen this one, and I think there are some really interesting watches here from Edward Christopher. Their Manta Diver is unique, and I have to say I like the designs of this collection, and it's under £1,000. Now, I have briefly held this model in my hand at the WatchGecko office for all of 5 minutes, and I think I may need to steal it for a longer review. What do I like about this brand? Well, there seems to be some nice ethics behind it. First of all, their mission is to help over 1 million children and young people through donations to charities across the world that protect the lives and well-beings of the next generation. Now, I probably wouldn't mind paying a little extra for a good watch if it's for a good cause. It will definitely ease my enormous guilt when buying my next watch at any rate. Secondly, the name of the brand Edward Christopher is named after two important people to the founder. His father and his great uncle both were genuinely heroic people who saved lives. Now, before you comment, we've spoken with Sean, the brand owner, and he never meant his brand to bear any similarity to Christopher Ward. It was just a genuine coincidence, and looking at the story behind it, I can absolutely believe him here. So next up we have Vertex, and a brand that I am very familiar with and whose watches, especially the Dirty Dozen, I have lusted after for some time now. This brand is all around military heritage and had been making watches since the Edwardian period. In 1915, these watches were produced for the British military, and in the Roaring 20s, they made a slew of Art Deco watches, designs, and of course, it's probably the most famous design is the Dirty Dozen watches brought into production during World War II. The original company sadly ceased to be in 1972, another victim of the dreaded quartz crisis. But the story does take an amazing turn, as in 2015, almost 100 years since it produced its first watch, the company was revived by the original owner's grandson, Don Cochran. Now, if you want to know more, we've actually done an interview with Don about the history of Vertex, so please check it out. Look, I love the designs on offer here, and I love a good tool watch. So this reissue is so well made and faithful to the original. I just love it. The models do look a bit pricey, but I'm sure that once I've had some time to get to know these watches a little better, I will appreciate it all the more. So I guess that's another one for the wish list. Next up, we have Fears. This Bristolian brand has been running since 1846, and amazingly, it looks like it's still run by the same family. In fact, the newest managing director, Nicholas Bowman Scarhill, was actually an apprentice watchmaker for Rolex in London, so you can tell this guy knows quality. And I have to say, their watches and designs are amazing. I am very much liking the Brunswick in particular. The salmon and Aurora dials are perfecto. Again, these watches do have a hefty price tag, but the history and design quality are just on point here. Goodness me. I think the list of things to try and review seem to be getting longer by the second. Now, this is cool. William Wood watches seem to be very, very unique in what they do, and I kind of like that. Their top model seems to be something I have never seen before in a watch, the Dunkirk. This is a bronze Swiss-made watch made in collaboration with London Fire Brigade. The dial is just fun and interesting, and each watch is made with a genuine piece of the Macy Shore, a boat which during Operation Dynamo better known to most as the Dunkirk evacuation in World War II, saved the lives of over 600 people. Stunning watch with a really cool history behind it. Now, just like a few of these other watches on this list, it comes with its own story and heritage. The brand owner's late grandfather, William Wood, served in the fire service for over 25 years, and they try to add a touch of history with every watch they make, and so far, they've actually donated over £123,000 to the firefighting charities around the UK. I love it when a good brand and good profits come together. This is another watch brand I'm personally not familiar with, but the team at WatchGecko have had this watch in for review a couple of times now. Zero West Watches appear to create some really interesting watches with a nod to British military and history. Now, their watches appear to be spread out over 3 key lines: air, land, and sea. These designs are tool-like. I like the case shapes, but unfortunately I can't say any more than that until I get my hands on one. So you're gonna have to take Richard's word for it here in the videos that he's done in the past. But yeah, if it looks interesting, and especially if British military history is important to you, this is definitely one to look at. Fairer. Oh my God, I really love this brand. I really want one as well. My problem is, do I go for the cushion cases, the GMTs, or the chronographs? Honestly, every single time I land on one design, I see another one that gives me pause for thought, and I can't make a decision. I honestly think that the only thing stopping me from pulling the trigger on this one is my choices and which one I want to get. Maybe towards the end of this year, I'll find one that I like, and you'll see it on my wrist in a future review. As a brand, Fairer have actually been fairly new to the game. They launched in 2015, and you can see and feel the enthusiasm and passion for watchmaking in all of their designs. From the colors to the design, the attention to detail here is just amazing. Again, we have an interview with James from Fairer on our channel if you want to learn more about this brand. Fairer are probably, maybe even certainly, my favorite brand on the list today. We're halfway through this British micro brand list, and now it's time to look at watches on the more affordable end of the market, at least for this entry. Now, Marlowe are a company that have a very unique and specific design language and philosophy. Again, these guys were founded in 2015. It seems to be an important point for modern watch brands, being founded, launched, or revived in that year. Who would have thought it? We reviewed the Scepter and a couple of their other models on this channel, but my favorites are the Daytimer or the GMT, especially the baby blue Tiffany-esque style version. Now, nudging us up to the year 2016, we have Isotope. I kind of like the designs of these watches. In fact, they tend to have like a retro futuristic vibe to them. I kind of like that. This brand really has elements of pop culture, Art Deco, and Art Moderne, as well as some brutalist nods thrown in as well. They have a range of different designs here, and they don't seem to have just one clear design aesthetic. That might be perceived as a weak point for some, but for others, the versatility will of course be appealing. Prices on these watches start from just £924 and go up from there. Now, if you like some of their designs and like the California dial, I think the value equation is of course there. Let's take the ferry across to Belfast, Northern Ireland, where we have Nomadic watches. These watches are made in Belfast, with their diver model being more than just a passing resemblance to the Tudor Black Bay. But that's definitely not a bad thing in my opinion. Look, these watches look well made, and I've seen some largely positive reviews on them on blogs and on videos. I'm also a big fan of the propeller style rotor. I think it's really cool. It's just so imaginative. I absolutely love that. I think this brand is worth paying attention to. So next up we have Adley, and it looks like they have one watch with 3 different colorways. This is a Seiko NH35 powered watch, and it is inspired by bicycles of all things. And I kind of get it. Both of them have mechanical moving parts, and both, in Britain at least, are absolutely iconic. These watches were founded in 2018 with the specs that look pretty good: 100 meters of water resistance, double dome sapphire crystal with AR coating, and what seems to be a very wearable 40mm in diameter. The thing I love about micro brands is that you get a lot of value for your money. Not only do you get a solid looking watch here with extras too, like a travel strap and wallet and microfiber polish, it's all packed in to a small amount, £340. pretty good. The penultimate watch on this list I checked courtesy of the WatchGecko overlords is another Bristol-based brand. This time it's tool watch creator Alkin. With a modern mix of colours and design here, I looked at their website and there appears to be 3 different models, and I'd rather straightforward naming system. Model 1, Model 2, and you guessed, Model 3. Now, I quite like them all, to be honest, but my favourite model has to be the Model 2, and especially the white fully loomed dial. I think that's pretty cool. It's powered by a high-beat Miyota 9039, which comes with double-domed sapphire crystal, 300 meters of water resistance, and it comes in at a not too shabby £425, the same price as their Model 3 range. Finally, I do not think I can mention the words microbrand and British without immediately thinking of the colourful brand Studio Underdog. What I love about this brand is it kind of encapsulates all that I love about the microbrand scene by being fun, innovative, and of course, well made. Obviously, the OG watermelon from the Series 1 would be the pick of the bunch, but my choice would be the Desert Sky here, even if it is heavily inspired by a pair of sneakers. And of course, if we are talking about Series 2, the pink lemonade is the colourful choice here. But again, I'm looking at the full moon as my personal choice. Both are watches under £1,000 and all have incredible specs for the price on offer here. And you're definitely going to stand out with a Studio Underdog on your wrist. What's your favourite microbrand on today's list? Or was there a British microbrand missing that you think we should check out? Let us know in the comments below. I think out of all of the watches I've been shown today, my favourites have to be Fairer, of course. I've been lusting after one for such a long time now. Vertex watches, especially the Dirty Dozen, and I have to say Alkin and Adley, maybe even Fears as well. Let's add that one in. But I actually quite like all of them in a way, and I think my opinions will definitely change once I get the chance to have some of these models on wrist for a decent chunk of time. But the future of the British watch industry looks bright, and I think we really do live in exciting times. Oh, and if you are looking to buy a watch strap, accessory, or microbrand in the UK or abroad, please check out the WatchGecko website. Thanks for watching everyone, and I'll check you all later.